we have Alex Gavrilescu, who is going to give us a talk on Backlog.md. And I've seen Backlog.md a number of times now, and I love these sessions. I don't want to go too deep into it, but to cover too much of what you're going to be saying. But Alex pretty much entirely built this tool, and I love seeing an equivalent of Jira at the terminal. I don't know why, but it's just fun to see. Alex is going to show you how what Backlog.md is, and perhaps give us some tips in and around how to build through specifications and what how we break down these complex tasks. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Alex Gavrilescu.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. So, you heard Backlog.md a couple of times today. The reason is because it's a very simple tool. It can really help you being structured with AI. And today we're going to have quite a hands-on, if the internet works very well. We're going to actually see Backlog working live and how you can actually implement a task for it using Backlog.md. So, let's start from myself. So I'm Alex Gavrilescu. I'm a lead developer in Vienna, Austria. I speak Romanian, Italian, English. So when you see me like at the coffee break, you can talk with me in any of these languages. I have more than 13 years of professional experience. And my main job, I work as with .NET, Kubernetes, Vue.js. But Backlog.md was the tool that I created for me to learn AI. And actually, it became so popular that, now I'm here. I'm talking to you about it, and I hope you will like it. So, what are we going to do today? So I'm going to give you some context how I got to build Backlog.md and why. Then I'm going to show you the tool, and then we're going to use Backlog.md to actually build a feature live, hopefully again, if everything works fine. And some questions, open questions at the end of like what is going to happen next. And at the end, you will have the QR code to these slides. So how did I start with AI? I started with just prompting. This was when Claude Code was launched. I tried to give him tasks and achieve some good results, and the results were not so great. They were like sometimes good, sometimes bad. It felt like really playing with a slot machine and not really having successful results. So this gave me more or less 50% success rate, and by success rate I mean tasks that I eventually managed to implement successfully, and I don't have to throw away the whole code. So even if I have to go back and forth a couple of times, for me that's still a successful task. Then I discovered the agent instructions, Claude.md, Agents.md. This was very, very powerful for me. That allowed me to tell agents how I want the linting, the formatting, the testing to happen. And you saw in previous talks why this is very important, to have the AI agents iterate until it knows it succeed. And I got to a more or less 75% success rate. And I was still not satisfied with the result. So I was trying to understand what am I doing wrong. And the answer was like, I'm not doing that many things wrong. I'm just like playing around with the agents, which are very non-deterministic. And I need to find a workflow, a process that would put more determinism in my work, in the coding. So how did I achieve this? So first, I realized that running out of context window would like completely destroyed the quality of the work. So I wanted to split my big feature into like smaller tasks that can fit in a whole context window, and always tell the AI agent the why are we building this feature. So it has a background like understanding of why are we doing even this feature, the what and the how. And I realized it's even better if we ask AI to create this information for us, this sort of like specifications from our description. Because this way, a feature that I describe, like I would like to have drag and drop functionality in my Backlog.md, will be translated by AI into what AI understands from my requirements. So it's already like a feedback step that is very important. And something that comes from my day-to-day work, have a clear definition of done. How many of you have a definition of done that is written somewhere documented? Okay, some, yeah. I think if you should look into this. This is a common approach to align with your teammates when something is done and what it means to be done. So like tests are done, documentation is written, some chore, like some put the task into some state that means it's done and so on. And with AI agents, it's also very important. So the next step was to have these tasks in markdown files. So I initially had a huge markdown file with all of the tasks. Then I realized that the AI agent will like get confused by so many things at once. So splitting into smaller markdown tasks was like what make it work much better. And I created like a template for these tasks so that I always have the same information in all tasks, and I can also use the agent instructions to tell the agent what to expect, so what to actually check and what to actually implement. And those markdown files will be committed in Git, so that I can also like go in Claude and say at task 1, 2, 3, and then please start working on this task. So this makes the loop more predictable, less non-deterministic. At the very beginning, the AI agents would read the tasks directly from the files, so it was perfect. They would have to implement the acceptance criteria. And a few months ago, Claude was really bad at maintaining a clear scope of what you wanted to build. It would either say, I'm done, but it will not be done, or implement extra features that you never requested. And with the acceptance criteria as sort of checkboxes, Claude would actually say, okay, I'm done, and only when the checkboxes are all flagged. And with a clear definition of done in the agent instructions, I can actually tell Claude or any AI agent, you can only say that you're done when all of these things are done, including testing, linting, and so on. So this resulted in greater than 95% success rate. I was very happy with the results, and it was almost done, so I could stop there. But then I wanted something more. I wanted more structure, like a tool around it, and unfortunately Kio was not launched back then, otherwise I would probably have not built Backlog.md. But I had to build it because there was not much, nothing else in May. So this is an image generated with Nano Banana. A few weeks ago there was a trend. Take your software and tell Nano Banana to generate an image of how it would look if it would be like a CD delivered in 1995. And actually, if you think about a Kanban board in your terminal, this could actually have been implemented in 1995. So I think this image fits, and I will use it from now on everywhere. And this is Backlog.md. So this is the Kanban board that runs in your terminal. It runs in your terminal, but also like in the slide deck. So this is live. So it runs almost everywhere because you can run a terminal in a slide deck with Tmux. And what do you have here? You have your Kanban columns, you have like to do, in progress, done. You can configure the columns with as many columns as you want. In my case, I want to keep it simple because most of the times the AI pick a task, works on it in a few minutes or like maybe 1 hour and then it's done. So I don't want to have too many status columns. And here I have the possibility to check the details of a task. So this is how it looks with acceptance criteria. Yeah, so this is like a task that has been completed, and all of the acceptance criteria are marked as done. So let me put back full screen. One sec. So why would you use Backlog.md? So this is not a replacement for Jira, Linear, or all of these very structured tools. This is a tool that I made for myself to work on my side project. So it's something very simple, but it's as simple as getting good results with it. And I think a lot of you, at least yesterday in the workshop, told me that you were very successful in getting good results. So I think this is a good feedback. And let me go back. So what we're going to do today, so in the current board, I don't have the possibility to move tasks around. I can just select the task and just see the details. But what if I wanted to move a task from to do to in progress, or from in progress to done, or like reorder it so I have my important tasks at the top? So let's try to build it live. So might be a bit challenging, but let's see if we can make it. So before we can start, it's very important to know what we want to build. So we need clear requirements. And in my case, I would like to have a new a button, a command to toggle move mode. And I want to see which task am I moving. And with the arrows up and down, I will reorder the tasks within the same column. And with left and right, I will move it between the status columns. And I can commit this change by pressing M or Enter, or I can cancel and abort, and everything should return as before. We are pressing ESC. And in the footer, I don't know if you noticed, there are some instructions how to use the current view. So also there we should see that we have this new button available. Right, so we have Claude live. I just repeated here the prompt from the previous slide, so hopefully if this works. Yes, he's connected, so let's see what happens. So the first thing that Claude did, it went away. It read the Backlog.md workflow. So Backlog.md is connected to Claude via MCP. And in the MCP, I have certain instructions for the agents how to use backlog. So the first thing that it did, read how the whole backlog overflow worked. And now if you just saw, it read the instructions for how to create a task. And then soon it will run the command to create the task, and the task is created. So far everything is fine, so it works. So let's see the task. Yeah, I knew this would happen. So let me see. I will show you later at the end because we have another step with the task. So the task will be a markdown file with certain sections. So there will be like some metadata, front matter, there will be a description and acceptance criteria. And at this point you can already review if the agent understood your requirement and proceed to the implementation plan. The implementation plan should be done right before you start working on a task. So earlier you could see in the to-do column we had hundreds of tasks, and we want to check in a task, put it in progress, and create an implementation plan where we ask the agent to actually come up with the plan. So what does it mean? Understand the task requirements from the description and the acceptance criteria. Check the documentation if we have any documentation in the code base, and come up with a plan to actually implement the feature. So let's have Claude continue. So create an implementation plan according to Backlog.md workflow for the task, and fill the implementation plan field in the task. So while this is proceeding, I will explain a few other things. So how does this process work? How do agents know how to use Backlog.md, and why they know immediately what commands to trigger? So I'm using MCP to express these instructions. The first instruction is about the workflow in general, like what is Backlog.md, what the agent should expect from Backlog.md, and then this is more like an entry point where the agent is being told, hey, if you want to create tasks, there will be task creation guide. If you want to work on a task, there will be the task execution guide. And when you think you're done, please still check the completion guide. That gives you some instructions of the definition of done and some other important information. And then I'm also exposing some tools for managing the tasks so that the AI agent can call. So searching tasks, viewing task details, creating tasks, and updating tasks. In the workflow, I usually tell the AI agent to first search for an existing task. So if I'm going to work on, for example, move mode, Claude will first search if there is already a task about it. If not, it's going to create it. And it works. So you saw earlier, it's very successful. Unfortunately, the task is somehow, because it's very dynamic, so everything is happening live, the slide didn't pick up the task. So I will, if we have 1 minute at the end, I will show you exactly what Claude created, but the task is there because we saw the successful message. And the implementation plan should have been at this point. And actually, at this point, you have the most important review step, where you can see the specs plus the plan. Like the plan represents the how. And you as a developer can verify if the agent is going in the right direction. And at this point, if everything is all right and the plan to implement this feature is correct, you can actually go and ask the agent to work on this task. So we want to have AI agents to write the code for us. So pick any AI agent that you prefer, so Cursor, Claude, Codex, Gemini, whatever. It's a nice to have if these agents have MCP connection, but if they don't, there is a fallback with using CLI commands. CLI commands means just the agent runs backlog task create, backlog task edit, as you can also do from your terminal. But with MCP, the agents have more structured information about the commands, such as like this field is required, this field is optional, and so on. That's why I recommend usually to use the MCP integration. And we want the agent to put the task into done when it's really done. So, yeah, let's see if we can actually have the task implemented successfully. So implement the task according to Backlog.md workflow. Usually you don't have to say this. Just implement the task should be enough, but for the sake of like trying to not have problems today, I'm explicitly mentioning this. So Claude is gonna work for a while. So in the meantime, let's go on and have a recap of what is Backlog.md. So it's a CLI tool that both you as a human and the agent can manage tasks, and that's it. The actual implementation of the tasks happens by you going to the Claude instance and asking Claude or whatever agent you use to actually pick up a task and work on that task. So it's not a center of command where you can just delegate tasks directly to the agents. It's really like a Jira/linear in your own repo. And all of these tasks are stored locally. So you can, if you wanted, you can run Backlog.md completely offline as long as you have a Git repo on your computer. And there is also a web interface for who is interested. You just have to run Backlog browser, and it's going to spin up a localhost web interface with all of the tasks in a nice web format. So let's recap what is Backlog.md. It's an open source CLI tool. It has a terminal user interface, the one that you saw earlier. There is also the web interface. AI agents can interact with it with Backlog.md via CLI or via native MCP connection. It's cross-platform. And the nice thing that I'm getting told about Backlog.md is that for people that just want some way to structure their tasks. So I want to build a small project, and I already know what I want to build, and I want to split this into smaller tasks. I don't want to set up a Jira account, I don't want to set up databases or anything, just like backlog init it my repo, and then I start creating tasks, either from the CLI, or I go to the AI agent and tell the agent to create the tasks for me. So it's very simple, but it's very effective. And also, I've been asked this a lot. Yes, it syncs tasks between branches. So if you and your colleagues are working on the same repo, you would see the tasks that other people create in other branches, as long as they push to some origin. And this backlog does it using Git commands under the hood. So it uses a lot of Git fetch and some other Git commands. So when you create a new task and you push this to some origin, other developers from your team will see this as long as they fetch. Actually, they don't even have to fetch because Backlog.md fetches under the hood. So one of the only requirements of Backlog.md is to have Git command line installed. And most important, Backlog.md was written 99% by AI agents. This is because, first, it was a challenge for me to not write code and to not mix myself with AI agents. I want to learn and to get better at using AI. So every time I had to do some adjustments, I asked the agent to fix everything for me. So the only files that are really written by me are the agent instructions. Everything else is being written by AI agents. So obviously, I went back and forth with some features. Sometimes I completely canceled, but what is good about backlog is that you have the specs, and if something goes wrong, you can go back to the specs and modify them and start again on the same feature, maybe changing the agent, and hopefully this time it's gonna go well. So now, if everything went right, we should see this result. All right, it's there. You can see the move button there. So in the meantime, Claude has implemented the feature that we wanted. So let me see if it works. So let's say, so first of all, implement move mode has been marked as done, you can see. It took a few minutes. All of the acceptance criteria are marked as done. We have the implementation plan, the one that we couldn't see before. We have implementation steps, and there should be like at the very end here. Wow, Claude really wrote a lot of information. Implementation notes, which is something that I tell the agent to write so that we see what has been done in this task. So very quickly, let's check the result. So I press M, task is highlighted, and I move it in progress. Let's say something went wrong and it didn't work as expected. Press enter, and it's here. And I guess it's worked. Let's see. Yes, it's now in progress. So this is how you use Backlog.md to work on Backlog.md or on any of your projects. All right, so let me conclude. So why does this work so well? So with the markdown tasks, you have more chances to do better context engineering, so to put exact information as the agent needs from every single task for the work to be done. You most likely will not run out of context window if you work on one single task per session. You can roll back, improve the specs, and try again. Scope is well defined with the acceptance criteria. Agents don't do more or less than expected because of the definition of done. You have 3 steps of review after the task is created, after the implementation plan is written, and after the execution, so after the code review, basically. And you can work on multiple tasks in parallel, maybe with Git worktrace. All right, so very quickly, open questions. So Agile software development will have to adapt for these AI native workflows. So they have to, you have to integrate AI agents as team members. So in this case, using Backlog.md is a good way to start, but it's obviously not what is going to be there in a year. You have to think about story points, estimations as something that works with humans, but not with AI agents that can run the whole night and like finish a whole sprint in a single night. And then we have to like really know what to build. We have to still get the customer feedback, and we need to respond to changes. And what are the challenges? So automated reviews. So in order to have a task being done and also merged and deployed to production. Resolving conflicts, how many tasks we can tackle in parallel, and keep the humans in the loop so that we deliver good software products to other humans. Thank you.